Hello and welcome to Newsfeed, your daily dose of what people are talking about online, from news stories to what's trending. Let's begin with the catastrophe that has struck the crypto sphere, the collapse of the exchange FTX, which has left an $8 billion hole. And now Türkiye has weighed in and is seizing the assets of FTX's local branch. The country's finance minister, Nureddin Nebati, said the crypto market should be treated with maximum caution. The Bahamas, where FTX had some of its main offices, is also moving to seize FTX assets as bankruptcy procedures roll on. Sam Bankman-Fried, FTX's founder, had kept up the appearance of solvency by claiming the company's own brand of token was worth something when it wasn't. Bankman-Fried, known in the crypto space as SBF, has apologized to both employees and customers for the collapse. He claims it was the result of misplacing $8 billion, and he's promised to restore the vanished wealth even if it takes the rest of his life. According to a balance sheet obtained by the Financial Times, FTX had liabilities amounting to $9 billion by the time it went bankrupt. But even the higher figures SBF has mentioned, like $34 billion, aren't based on anything but the level of hype around crypto, which has tanked in value this year. FTX only had about $900 million in real money. That's because so much of its declared wealth was in the form of investments in startups and the luxurious lives of SBF and his friends. So where did the Bitcoin in FTX go? It was probably in the $1.4 billion worth of Bitcoin liabilities FTX held. A lot of small-time investors can't get their money back because it was never really there. And what's the worst part? The balance sheet says that FTX didn't actually hold any Bitcoin itself. That's right, the company that promised to bring crypto into the mainstream and help normal folk get rich didn't even trust it themselves. Turan Sert, a blockchain researcher based in Istanbul, shared his thoughts.
What happens in Türkiye is Türkiye and the ministries, obviously they are taking the necessary precautions for an exchange that operates in Turkey, which is a branch of an international exchange. So that's what they're doing. They're trying to protect their customers. But when you look at on the global front, what you do see is actually it's a human issue. It's not something related to crypto, but it is. We are seeing, unfortunately, humans have a tendency to become greedy when they have power without any control or visibility, and that's what we are seeing.
It's a new era for Malaysia, days after a chaotic general election resulted in an unprecedented hung parliament. The king stepped in and appointed longtime opposition leader Anwar Ibrahim as PM. His party won the most seats, but not enough to form a government. So the king took the rare move of intervening in politics and chose Anwar to lead the country. Okay, new leader, so what? You may ask, why is this even such a big deal? After all, Malaysia has had 3 prime ministers in the past 3 years. But it is a big deal. Really, Anwar has been waiting for about 25 years for this moment. Here he is being sworn into the top job by the king. It caps off a tumultuous decades-long political journey for Anwar, from veteran leader Mahathir Mohamad's protege to protest leader, later jailed on trumped-up sodomy and corruption charges, to opposition leader, and finally, yes, PM. So yup, it's been a long journey. And some Malaysians are clearly ecstatic about their new PM.
Yes! Yes! Reformasi! Yes! 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 Sudah menang! Kita punya Datuk Seri Anwar menang! Kita punya Datuk Seri Anwar menang! Kita Datuk Seri Anwar!
Okay, jokes aside, it's not going to be an easy road ahead for Malaysia's new leader. Anwar and his reformist Pakatan Harapan Party have the tall task of reviving an economy struggling with rising inflation and a weakened currency. He'll also have to work on bridging racial divides that have deepened after Saturday's election in the multi-ethnic country of 33 million people. Take a listen to what these Malaysians sent us on the subject matter.
The election has shown us, however, is that the country is divided. I would therefore urge the new Prime Minister and his government to continue to engage with leaders from across the divide in order to achieve united governance. We as citizens can also do our part by engaging and communicating with our brothers and sisters from all across Malaysia, find out what is important to them, and work together for the best interests of Malaysia.
The elections did show a deep divide in Malaysia, as there was a significant amount of votes that went to Perikatan Nasional, more specifically to PAS, a Islamist party with a very strong core conservative base. So what this shows is that Malaysia is having an upsurge in conservative voters. So it's clear that the new government will have their hands full. Apart from a global economic downturn, socio-economic issues, they have to do a lot to mend the relations between the right and the left and unite a multicultural country.
There is, however, a sense of optimism among young Malaysians about their new progressive PM. Lily Chai, a presenter at Malaysian radio station BFM, spoke to us. She thinks it's a good thing that the king, known to Malaysians as the Yang di-Pertuan Agong, intervened.
I'm super happy that our Yang di-Pertuan Agong has come to this conclusion. Although there isn't much information about the formation of the government yet, I still feel super hopeful about Malaysian politics for its future. And because at the end of the day, I think Malaysians, we just want an inclusive government that is diverse and at the same time take care of its people.
And one meme in particular, I feel, sums up some of the sentiment on social media today about Anwar Ibrahim's appointment as PM. Now, this old clip of Anwar has been making its rounds again online, and you'll get why.
If next year you become Prime Minister,
I heard if, not when.
When it comes to supporting a national team at the World Cup that isn't your own, let's face it, most people go for Brazil. The Samba boys have more neutral fans than any other. Their top players are known across the world. Pelé, Rivaldo, Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, I could go on, Zico, and on. But who are the world's favorite football fans? In a World Cup full of surprises, it's actually the Japanese fans that are winning both hearts and minds.
يقنعني ان هاي شيء طبيعي. في نهاية المباراة الافتتاحية بكأس العالم بين قطر والإكوادور صار هالشيء الغريب. الجمهور الياباني قرر ينظف الملعب. حتى مو مباراتهم. Let me help you guys. ولما سألتهم عن السبب اللي يخليهم ينظفون شيء هم ما لهم علاقة فيه، كان الجواب
We never leave, Japanese never leave rubbish behind us. We respect the place.
Not for the cameras. Yeah, not for cameras. Not for cameras. واو، أنا توقعت واحد اثنين. بس طلع عليك نهاية الملعب قاعد ينظفون متوزعين كل مكان. هاي شيء سمعت عنه بس ما توقعت انه هو واقعي بهالطريقة. واو. فوق ذي كله شالوا الأعلام من الأرض، حطوهم أغلبهم على الكراسي وخذوهم. خذ احترام. Respect. Respect.
That was after the World Cup opening match. But if you thought that was a one-off, the Japanese were still at it following Wednesday's amazing victory over Germany. Given the choice of going to celebrate a shock win with your friends and countrymen or staying behind after the match to clear up litter, I'm not sure many other fans would opt for the cleaning option. So Apple users, I'm sure you've seen these ads. Privacy, that's iPhone. It's been running for a few years now, all part of Apple's big fat marketing campaign to rebrand itself as a privacy company. And it was one of the reasons why people got iPhones, because after all, we want privacy, not piracy. We've heard Apple say many times now that the data it collects cannot personally identify you, but new evidence has emerged that calls that into question. The data includes a permanent and unchangeable ID number called a Directory Services Identifier, or simply DSID. And this DSID might as well be a DNA sample. It's tied to our names, birth dates, addresses, and basically everything about us, including every single step we take. What are we searching for, which ads we saw, and how much time we spent looking at something?
Data can be used to profile users and to customize a marketing experience for them. The more data you collect, the more precise will be the advertising that you can propose to the user. You can influence their behavior. For example, knowing their position, you can suggest the users to visit a specific place or a specific restaurant, or to make a purchase in a shop in the proximity. But you can do much more.
Well, you might think you can switch off the Share iPhone analytics settings, but here's the snag that makes absolutely no difference. Tommy Miss, who is an app developer and security expert, reports user data is being sent to Apple even when users have turned off sharing. And days after his findings went public, Apple is now facing a class action lawsuit for allegedly deceiving its customers. Ouch. So what? Will the lawsuit or the new findings even affect Apple? Here's security and intelligence expert Pierluigi Paganini once again with his views.
I don't think it could have a significant impact. The company will be able to address the issues and to use it to demonstrate once again that it takes care of the user privacy. I will be not surprised if this discovery will be used by Apple to reinforce its image. They have an excellent marketing strategy.
Staying with Apple, let's talk about another case. This time, Apple is suing cybersecurity startup Corellium. In 2019, Apple took action against the company over copyright issues, and it has over 500 pages of evidence to back its case. The documents contain emails between Corellium and several companies that have dubious reputations in the cybersecurity industry. So why is Apple getting involved? Well, it's accusing Corellium of using virtual versions of Apple's iOS software to perform security analysis and then selling the information to repressive regimes and countries with dodgy human rights records. That includes the creators of the infamous Pegasus spyware and Russian iPhone hacking company Alcomsoft. Corellium does not dispute the legitimacy of the report, but says it is committed to promoting and protecting human rights. And they take measures to restrict illegal sales. Well, it's Thanksgiving for Americans in the United States and even those living around the world. It's a day to gather with family and friends over food and think about what they're thankful for. And while fellowship is its purpose, the day isn't without controversy. And no, we're not talking about political disagreements with relatives. We're talking about how to cook the traditional whole turkey. The customary way to do it is stick it in the oven and wait about 4 hours until the bird is golden brown. But there's a faster method, apparently, deep frying it. But if you do it wrong, the consequences can be quite disastrous. There are a million ways for it to go wrong, especially if you forget to defrost the bird or you drop it into the deep fryer too fast. But if you can't resist the potential for crispy, juicy turkey, please follow instructions from experts and wear safety goggles. We'll be rooting for you, but from a safe distance here in Istanbul. From everyone here on the Newsfeed team, happy Thanksgiving.
It's turkey. It's good and moist inside. And what we'll do is we'll let that turkey sit for about another half hour. Let it cool down. It's still cooking inside, in fact, because that oil is still there. Let it sit for about a half hour and then we slice it up. So that's it. Happy Thanksgiving.